Hey, welcome to Beyond Organic Wine. I'm Adam Huss. Thank you for listening and reading. This episode isn't really an episode, it's just an audio post version of a free Substack article I wrote this week. I've moved the Beyond Organic Wine podcast, as well as all of the writing and resource building that I do, to Substack, where I hope you'll join me, if you haven't already, at beyondorganicwine.substack.com. When I publish a written post in the future, I'm going to accompany it with an audio post like this, maybe slightly better audio. I happen to be traveling and in a kitchen and doing the best I can. But in the future, you'll be able to read or listen as best suits your brain type, situation, whim, or ability to see. I'm releasing this as a short, unadulterated podcast as well, as a sample of what you'll find on the Beyond Organic Wine Substack. I hope you'll join me there at beyondorganicwine.substack.com to continue exploring an ecology-first approach to wine growing, winemaking, and fermentation cultures, and connecting about plant sentience and communication, decolonizing wine, wine forests, re-envisioning wine in a post-vinifera culture world, and much more. This post is titled, "The Seeds in Your Wine." When the Wine Forest Farmhouse, where I'm establishing a married vine polyculture in Spencer, New York, was originally built around 1900, the farmers planted a spruce tree beside it. That tree is now approximately 125 years old and a grand elder in my community. When hiking on the far side of the hollow, I always know where the farmhouse is, even if I can't see it, because the spruce rises at least another 30 feet above any tree around it. As it was a beloved home tree, it was spared from the logging that kept the nearby forests in a state of perpetual youth. But I worry about it. We cannot understand a tree by itself. Trees evolved as forests. A big part of who they are, genetically, chemically, biologically, physically, developed from understanding themselves in relation to large communities. Growing in community, spruce can spring up very quickly. They can spend less energy establishing root systems and channel that energy towards height, knowing that they will have the protection of their community when the storm winds blow. When isolated and unprotected, though, this strategy can be risky, both for the tree and the humans and other lives who live near or in it. We can enable wine, I'm using enable instead of make, at least as I define it inclusively, from the reproductive energies of many more than human lives, including vine people, tree people, shrub and bush people, and many other types of plant people. And we often focus, maybe fetishize might be a more accurate term, on a single plant's reproductive cycle. Vines, for example. But no matter what kind of lives you partner with to enable wine, vine, tree, shrub, or all of the above, they eventually lead you to begin learning from a diversity of other living systems as well, because no lives grow in isolation. If you focus on vines, you'll begin to learn how deeply connected they are to the soil, to trees and shrubs, and all kinds of plants, as well as birds, insects, mammals, and many others, humans especially. They grow and thrive as networkers and collaborators in an incredibly diverse community of lives. Think, though, how much of what we call viticulture or pomaculture is aimed at reducing both the diversity and number of community members. At one extreme, some people's ideal vineyard is ground and air devoid of any lives but grapevines. But even the best-intentioned wine growers exclude most animals and birds if possible, not to mention many kinds of plants and fungi. Of course, there are excessively competitive, even to the point of being parasitic community members. And we can, of course, help ensure the health and reproductive capacity of the whole community by discouraging or at times excluding and removing those lives. But we should be careful to make sure in these efforts that we aren't starting to take on the characteristics of parasitism ourselves. When we begin to shift our thinking from seeing trees or vines in isolation, separated from community, to seeing them as interconnected, contributing members of diverse communities, this begins to shift the meaning and values we have around partnering with them. We don't partner with vines because vines in isolation don't exist. We partner with living communities and diverse life systems to make wine. I've spent a lot of time, and continue to, learning how to partner with vine people and their communities to enable wine to happen deliciously. I'm continually impressed by their generosity. From a study titled, "Feed Your Friends, Do Plant Exudates Shape the Root Microbiome?" published on ScienceDirect.com, quote, "Plant exudates shape microbial communities. Overall, plants exude up to 20% of fixed carbon and 15% of nitrogen, which includes an array of simple molecules such as sugars, organic acids, and secondary metabolites, as well as complex polymers such as mucilage," end quote. Vines, trees, and other plants have evolved this incredible ability to feed themselves and create community by setting up a system of interdependence. You might call it a gift economy, as there is much mutual exchange, but no money. Plants learned how to acquire the raw materials of life by simply breathing while sunbathing. They use this unique and amazing talent to build an ever-increasing community and network of sharing and communication by giving a significant percentage of their air harvest away. They don't hoard it for themselves. Much of their energy is spent producing food that draws in a community of lives who need it. The plants become surrounded by just the right lives that sustain its life by sustaining them. When we say it takes a village to raise a child, we should also think about grape or apple seeds. Plants can reproduce most successfully, can nurture the healthiest offspring when in a healthy and thriving community of mutual exchange. This should very much interest us as winemakers, since healthy ovaries, fruit, make the best wine. We in fact specialize in plant reproduction. We are OBGYNs for plants. We are fruit midwives. We are wine doulas. And a supportive and nurturing community is the best way to bring a new life into the world. And there's something much more profound about this. Plants rely on us and a community of other lives to help them reproduce. A plant feeds us and birds and other animals, and by feeding us, it relies on us to carry its system of interdependence out into the world, to be its wings, its wheels, and its legs to spread a design of community building to new lands. Each of its seeds is a potential new community system of giving and communication, and we help prepare it for growth by scarifying it in our digestive tracts while being nourished by the best of what the vine or tree could gather from the air and soil community exchange it co-created. We don't eat the seeds when we drink the wine, though, at least not literally. We don't sell the fruit, but a fermented reminder of it. Or at least that's the potential. I think that's one of the seeds that's in our wine, or could be. The reminder that this bottle grew from a small but diverse community of more than human and human lives, who through storm and trouble built something beautiful together, raised a family, and sent them out into the world to reconnect again in new, strange places, with new communities, and help make them more connected, more nurturing, abler to withstand what's coming. What seeds are you sending out into the world with your wine? What systems or economies are you building with the energy you exchange with the plants? Absent the physical seeds, are you helping to disperse the vine's metaphysical seeds, the stories and ideas the plants embody, or something else? That's it. Thanks so much for listening, and I hope you join me on Substack at beyondorganicwine.substack.com. Thanks for listening. Hey, just a quick note to say we are looking for sponsors for Embracing Hybrid Grapes in California, our conference that's happening this January 26, 2026 at UC Davis. If you would like to identify yourself, your brand, your business with the future of wine in California, moving towards a resilient, more ecological, more distinctive in the global market future for wine, this is a fantastic opportunity to identify yourself as the leader in the space, as one of the forward-thinking people, as a resource, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Embracing Hybrid Grapes in California this January 2026. Please email if you are interested in sponsorship or supporting in any way. Connect at organicwinepodcast.com. Thank you.